And I'm going to welcome you all again to the Career Readiness and Job Placement Team Careers in Psychology Tailoring Your Resume webinar today. And all of the stuff that I go over here, or most of the stuff I should say, is in some resources that we provide to you all, our students, community members. And so I'm going to drop that into the chat. There is a link there that you can click that will allow you to access the materials that are some of the materials that are in this workshop that will be good for reference for the future as you continue to work on your resume in the future as you're job searching. So let me just drop it in there and label it so you know what it is. And I will be dropping this link in throughout, or my colleague will too, for those of you who are coming in a little bit later. So those are our just-in-time resource guides available to you as reference. And we can go ahead and move to the next slide. My name is Alexa Moore. I'm the Job Placement Coordinator for Society and Education. Thus, I will be leading this workshop as far as it goes pertaining to psychology as it falls under our meta major. Our team is made up of 5 people, most represent to each our job placement coordinators who represent each meta major. And also our newest team member who I'll let introduce himself. Derek, go ahead and introduce yourself.
That's me. How's it going, everybody? My name is Derek Allenby, a career readiness resource aide. Happy to be of service.
And my other colleague.
Hi everyone, my name is Renee Liang and I'm the Job Placement Coordinator for Arts, Language, and Communication. And today I'll be helping Alexa with just presenting the resume workshop.
Yes, thank you so much, Renee. And the other team members on our staff are Laura DiCaleta, who is the Job Placement Coordinator for Business, Entrepreneurship, and Management, who is actually on leave at the moment. So we will be getting a lot of support from all of the team in supporting students under that meta major. And then we have Brittany Sneed, who is our Job Placement Coordinator for Science, Technology, and Health. So that's just a little bit about our team. We are part of the Strategic Partnerships and Workforce Development Division. And I will provide contact information at the end of this slide, at the end of this presentation, if you're interested in getting some one-on-one support. And we can go to the next slide. So since we're here at a resume workshop, I did want to just get a little bit of information from all of you about why you feel like a resume is important to have. So I'm actually going to drop a link in the chat, as well as if you are knowledgeable on how to use the QR code, you can simply scan your phone as well. And if you could just provide a couple of your thoughts on why you think that a resume is important, it will kind of just give us a little foundational source of what we all kind of know and understand about resumes or why we think they're important. Feel free to use the chat as well if you're having any type of trouble accessing the Mentimeter, but would just love to hear from you all as far as why you think a resume is important. And if anyone wants to share verbally, I'm more than happy to have you unmute yourself and share it in that capacity as well, whatever you feel comfortable with. And so I'm not seeing.
Hello?
Yeah, Ruth?
Hi. Yes.
Hi.
Sorry, I was trying to scan the QR code, but it wasn't really working on my phone. So I figured I'd just go ahead and I guess give my point as to why resume is important.
I love that. Please share.
So really, for my point, it gives a good breakdown, a really nice and clean summary of what you can put on the table for your employer. Not like tons of information where it's overwhelming. Definitely want to make it clean cut. So it's really like your biography as to what they're going to see before they even call you or even get to a hiring process. So it's definitely like it's like your cover for sure.
Thank you so much, Ruth. I mean, you already kind of just said some key topics that we're going to talk about in here. So I'm glad that you shared that actually. So I appreciate you sharing out loud, and sorry there was a little bit of issue with the QR code, but I'm so happy that you were able to share. And so I'm not seeing anything else in the chat. And Renee, if you want to pull up, if we have any responses from the Mentimeter? No, I don't see any. So I really appreciate you, Ruth, participating in that forum for us and kind of laying out the foundation of, yes, a resume is important. It's kind of preparing you for that interview piece as far as, are you even going to get called back to an interview, right? It's kind of like your golden ticket, so to speak, to the interview process. And your interview process is really essentially what finally will get you ultimately the job. So thank you so much for sharing, Ruth. And we can go ahead and move to the next slide. And so in life, a resume is just a quick glimpse of your roots, a general understanding of what you've achieved, a standing point for a conversation, usually generally one page, and is adapted to highlight qualities one has in relation to the position the applicant is seeking. So a lot of what Ruth said too comes into this play as well, as far as her mentioning, you know, you're laying out on the table who the employer is. And I believe that's the term that you use, which is pretty much accurate. You're showing who you are in a resume and why you would be the best candidate for the position that this employer is looking for. And if we go to the next slide, we'll see on paper what a resume is. So we have a reverse chronological format. And the reverse chronological format is probably the most common and the most traditional types of resume. And it's literally when you list in the resume format your relevant work experience in reverse chronological order, meaning you start with the beginning of your most recent position and then you proceed to move backwards, listing your previous positions in that format. And that's typically how most resumes are listing your experiences. Then we have a functional resume, and a functional resume is also sometimes called like a skill-based resume, or I've even heard it be used as a targeted resume, where you're really going to place focus on your skills and area of expertise. So rather than showing all of your details of your work history, like if you've had a ton of work history, instead of listing all of that, you're really going to pick experiences that are relevant to the position or really highlight your skills that are most transferable to the role that you're applying for. And then lastly is the combination, or AKA the hybrid format, which is the most commonly used by our department, I believe. And again, each individual will be unique to his or her own resume. So you don't really need to worry about which is the right one for me. If you're not sure, you can definitely reach out to us and but know that you can actually combine these type of formats as well. And so the combination is exactly what it is. It's a mix of the reverse chronological resume. So keeping that format of how you're listing the most recent to your previous experience, and then also emphasizing those experiences based on your skills and your experience. So picking the most relevant experiences for that particular job that you're applying for. And so if we move to the next slide, so that's a little bit about the types of resumes we see on paper. And on the next slide here, I just added a quote because I wanted to kind of set the tone as far as why we tailor resumes. What is the importance of tailoring your resume? And this quote is by actually someone who wrote an article for LinkedIn. And she says, whether you are a professional or a student, a resume is a lifelong document that will always remain in edit mode. And that spoke to me because it is a document that you're continuously going to be adding to when you think about the different work experiences or professional experiences that you have, as well as your education and other affiliations with organizations or leadership that you have. So those will continuously grow over time. And so it really stuck out to me that, yes, this is a document that is going to be in edit mode, and you're going to be tailoring it specifically as you move through your career into different positions. And so keeping track of your resume in a way where you have a main resume, so pretty much essentially all of your work experiences, professional experiences, education in one space where you can pick and choose based on the job you're applying to, what those sections would be for that particular job. And it just helps, it builds a foundation. I call it a main resume because you can be as long as you need it to. And we'll kind of talk about formatting of a resume and what kind of elements or components should be within a resume. But essentially, having a main resume is super important because it will help the process not feel so tedious as you begin to tailor your resume to specific jobs that you're applying for. A lot of times people think I have to start all the way from scratch every single time, or I have to create a whole new resume every single time, but that's not necessarily the case in this particular way if you do a main resume, because you already have all your foundations there, all of your experiences, and you're really just picking and choosing. You might modify a few words here and there to really stand out to the company, making sure that you're letting them know, hey, I've read your job description, I know what you're looking for, and these are the transferable skills that I have from my experiences that will, you know, fit this role the best. And if we go to the next slide, that's exactly what I'm pretty much talking about, is tailoring your resume. And it can seem tedious, it can feel daunting, but it is vital in the job search. It's going to help highlight why you are that candidate, and pretty much kind of what I just said in the previous slide. And you don't have to create a brand new resume each time because you have a main resume, but you will definitely have your job description and your main resume side by side so that you can really pick and choose what experiences would be going into your new resume for a particular job opportunity that you're applying for. And studies have shown actually that when you tailor your resume, you're more likely to get to the interview stage. So as I kind of briefly mentioned, that it shows the employer that you really took opportunity to read the job description, to really understand what skills, what qualifications they were looking for in that particular role. And you pretty much tailored your experiences and your skill sets to match that of the job description. And so you really make their job as a recruiter or a hiring manager a lot easier, and you paint yourself in a way that they see that, you know, we really want to meet you in an interview. Like that is what's going to help you get that job. So using a recycled resume is not going to benefit you because it's really a waste of your time, and it's really a waste of the recruiter's time when they notice that it's just a common resume where, you know, what you have listed doesn't even really match what it is they were looking for. Using key specific words is essential. And so when I say tailor, of course, you're going to match from your main resume what is in the job description. And maybe you're applying to very similar roles, but that does not mean that you're applying to the same role. Each job description, no matter if they are, you know, a case manager, even though it's the same job title, it's not going to have the exact same job description. So that's why I always say, keep your job description that you're applying for in front of you with your main resume and create it and tailor it. You might have several case manager resumes because you applied at different companies, but understand that each company is different and each job description is going to be different, and they might list it in a different way. They might have different priorities in their job description versus another case manager from another company. And so those are the little things that really make a difference, again, when you have them in your resume and intrigue the eye of a recruiter. When you think about the amount of resumes a recruiter or a hiring manager is reading every day, it's a lot. So you really want to make yourself stand out. And another thing to keep in mind is not only using the relevant language from the job description, so subtle things as far as like if they want someone who's very organized or someone who's had experience with youth or knowledge of Word, you know, knowing and picking up those key things. But in addition, most companies, if you're uploading your resume into an online application, have a software called applicant tracking system. And more companies are wanting you to upload your resume directly because they have this system, and it really helps the manager and the recruiter to filter out potential candidates. So this software is predetermined based on their job description to filter out resumes looking for key words of the job description that they have in place in your resume. So they're looking for these keywords. And if you don't hit a certain mark of the amount of keywords they're looking for, or not even get a keyword on there, then your resume is simply going to be filtered out. So before it even touches human hands, it's already moving through a computer system. So that's why it's another really important reason to tailor your resume to the job that you're applying for. And now we're going to go over basic elements of a resume. I'm not going to read all of this. This is actually in that resource guide that I've dropped in the chat. Hopefully everyone can see that. If you don't, we can drop, I'll have my colleague drop it again in there for you all. But these are just some basic elements to keep in mind when you're creating a resume. Thank you so much, Renee. So she's dropped that in there. If you haven't gotten access to it, you can get access to it now. And I did want to highlight a few though. So the first one I want to highlight is your name. And so that's the 6th bullet on the left. And you definitely want to file, when you're saving your resume, you want to save it properly under your name. Using your name will help to just reiterate your name, I believe, in the hiring process. So they're going to see your name the first thing they do when they open the resume. They're going to see it as the saved file. But in addition to that, you can also use the job description or the company. The job description, I'm sorry, not the job description, the job title or the company. So maybe, like I mentioned, you might be applying to a lot of different case manager positions because that's ideally what you want to do. So you could get confused about which case manager position this was for, like which company. So if you're applying to multiple different companies for the same role, make sure, and they have the exact same title, make sure that you're saving your title and the company, or at least just the company, so you have an idea of who you are reaching out to and following up with. And again, just making sure that your name is the first thing saved on that document. And then the second element I wanted to highlight, which is the 2nd bullet on the right, is to make good of the top third of your resume. So roughly, I think recruiters spend about 6 to 7 seconds skimming a resume from top to bottom. And what really entices them to read more is the information that is typically at the top, because that's what they're looking at first. So we say put the most relevant information there, and I'll talk a little bit more about this as we go through the different elements of the resume. But ideally, the most relevant information, meaning what is most relevant as far as your experience or your education, to put first into that resume so that they see that is most relatable to the job you're applying for. And again, we'll talk more about how you can move the different elements or components of a resume around. So you can definitely have the ability to reorder in order to make sure that you are providing the most relevant information. And we'll also talk about a summary of qualifications, which is usually your header and your summary are the top things. So I'll get a little bit more into detail about that as we move forward. And the last thing I do want to mention overall, and I am going to go back to Ruth, who so kindly shared her thoughts about the importance of a resume. She mentioned making sure it's clean cut, easy to read. And that is definitely something you really, really want to be sure of. Once your content is there on your resume, the next thing you really want to make sure is the formatting looks good. It's easy to read, because if people struggle to read it, they're going to pass it on to the next candidate. They're not going to waste their time or call you or ask you about it. They're just going to move to the next person. So you just want to make sure your formatting is done in a way that is easy to read, not struggling to read it. It looks good, and also it's consistent, which we'll talk a little bit about as well. And I forgot to mention, if at any point in time you have questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat, and I'll get to them as soon as I can see it. I do have the chat open. And hopefully we'll have some time near the end for some questions too, if it comes up. And so now we'll look at kind of just an overview of a resume here and all the different components. So these are some components that you would want to consider enlisting in your resume. Although not all of these components are required, you will definitely need your header, which is your contact information. That is definitely required. A summary is highly recommended, and I would say is required in your resume. And those are always, as I just mentioned previously, the first 2 things that an employer should see on your resume. And then listed here in the order is education, experience, projects, coursework, skills, and leadership. But as I mentioned earlier, you can reorder these components based on what is most relevant to the job you're applying to. So maybe for one job, you feel like your experience is more relevant than your education. So after your summary, you might have education experience listed and then maybe your education. Or sometimes you might feel your education is, so vice versa. Maybe there are some skill sets that are really required for a job that you have and you're like, I want to put those at the top because I want to let them know that I have those skill sets. So having that under your summary. So just know that you can really reorder these, and to keep in mind that the top third, right, always of your resume is where you want to draw the reader in. So always putting the most relevant information after your header and your summary of qualifications. And now we'll talk about each of these components a little bit deeper in depth so that you can kind of understand what goes in them, as well as kind of how to format some of these. And in the resources provided, there is a sample resume in there. It is not this resume here. This resume is specifically tailored to someone who's in psychology, but all of the tips in there are similar to it's exactly the same as what here. It's just a different resume, so you can kind of see what potentially a psychology student's resume might look like, or someone with a background in psychology. And so the header is going to be your name, address, email, phone number, and optional your LinkedIn URL if you have one, and if it's up to date where you're willing to share it. And we'll talk a little bit more about why you would want to share that. And so we'll blow up the example in the next slide here so that you can see that Sally's header. And it's always best to provide contact information, including your email and phone number, so where the recruiter can easily reach you. So just meaning that make sure you can receive messages to your inbox in your email. Sometimes they do get filled on Gmail, I believe, and it will send it back. So just make sure that you're keeping your inboxes up to date and able to receive messages, as well as your voicemails. So sometimes your voicemail can get full or it's not set up yet. And I've heard about people missing opportunities to be able to speak with a employer for a position because they didn't have a voicemail set up. So not everyone is always using email, but maybe they're using the phone. So ensuring that you have the best contact information for those is ideally what you want to make sure. And then lastly, your LinkedIn URL, and this is just a tip to remember, is that you can post it on there. It is super beneficial if your LinkedIn profile is up to date, because when we think about a resume is usually about a page long, ideally. And you might not be able to put all of the experiences that you want on one page and fit that all, but you would put the most relevant. But maybe you want to share the other things about yourself, and your LinkedIn is a great way to put it on your resume, because a recruiter will definitely click, or hiring manager will click on that URL and be able to see all the different things that you've done through your LinkedIn profile, which you do not have to modify to being one page or 2 pages. It can be as long as you want it to be, right? But I always recommend making sure that you do the shortened URL, which we can help you with that if you're interested in diving deeper into your LinkedIn. And then also making sure it's just ready to be seen, right? And then I think on here is another tip about the email. So just using a professional email on your resume is highly important. I think the example we have here is Party Queen Bee, which is not the best example, but usually your name and your first and last name, first name, maybe some numbers. I mean, anything that's just professional. And if your school email is something you're using currently at the moment, that's great to use too, but always consider updating your resume. If you're no longer in school, you might not have access to that email. So be sure to update your email on your resume as well. Then we can go to the next, which is our summary of qualifications. Now, the summary of qualifications is what I like to refer to as, what my colleague calls it, is a movie trailer. And it really just highlights all of your skills and your experiences so that a hiring manager can really decide if you're a good fit for this role. And it's usually about 3 to 5 sentences or 3 to 5 bullet points based on the space that you have on your resume. A paragraph will kind of give you more space, and the bullet points kind of elongates the space that you have so that you can make sure you don't have any white spaces on there. And so there's a good balance of text. And so usually, again, this is something that's going to be more than likely changed. Not every single point that you have on your summary, but usually will be updated or tailored, again, depending on the job that you're applying to, because you really want to highlight some of the key skills that you have that would really, really make you a great candidate for this job. It's always in the top of your resume, so you really have to have it tailored and specific, and also have you stand out in that sense. So, and the best way to do this is using the job description and just thinking about your different accomplishments that you're proud of as well. So it doesn't always have to be only things that you've done in your role, in different experiences, but any accomplishments that you want to share too, or if you're have high academic standing or something that you want to share about yourself, this is a great place to share it as well. And then as long as you're really tailoring it again and making it relevant to the job that you're applying for. Sometimes it's hard for people to write about themselves. And so one thing I always recommend is go through all the other components first and then come back and do your summary, because as you're working through the different experiences you have, leadership, projects, coursework, it might spark up some ideas that you're like, hey, you know what? I also did this in this experience that I want to highlight in my summary of qualifications. And so, yeah, that's a tip for that. And then if we go to the next, you can see Sally's summary of qualifications. Oops, sorry, I lost my slide. Sally's summary of qualifications here. It's so you can see it a little closer, but here we also recommend listing under those accomplishments and skills some essential skills, or what some might know as soft skills, but we're really moving away from that term because we know that these skills, it doesn't give the best name. We know these skills are not soft, and we know that these skills are actually really essential, and a lot of times what employers are looking for. These are a few of those listed here. So communication, decision-making, problem-solving, organization, teamwork, leadership are some essential skills that you could think about if they apply to you. Using them in your summary would be great. And also if that's something that they're looking for in the job that you're applying for. You can see that Sally has a couple of her key accomplishments here. She's highly motivated, recent psychology degree student. She's able to generate, build, and maintain professional client relationships. She has knowledge of human behavior and performance, including individual differences, ability, personality, and interests. And she is remarkable interpersonal rapport, building and counseling skills through experience and training in mental health, therapeutic interventions, protocols, and crisis management. Something that would have been great here as well is to add some quantitative data. And so I'll mention that again in the work experience section. Quantitative data is really valuable too. So maybe her sharing how many years of experience she has building rapport or maintaining client relationships. So she could say, 3+ years of experience in generating, building, and maintaining professional client relationships. So that is always a great thing to do. If you can add numbers to the work that you're doing, is usually helpful. And you don't have to know exact numbers, and we'll talk more about that in the work experience section, but just roughly an idea of years or numbers as far as client files, maybe like how many client files you've monitored, but I'm going a little bit ahead. So we'll look at that in work experience, but you can also add numbers in your summary of qualification. And so the job that Sally is applying to is probably something related not only to having customer service skills, because she's mentioning that she can create great relationships with others, but definitely something that is supporting case management and dealing with individuals in a way where she's being supportive. So it could be like a case management role that she is looking at here. But again, you have to really tailor it to the position that you are going to be applying to. And the skills that are also relevant to you as well. So it kind of goes both ways. And now we're going to watch a video here that's going to talk a little bit more about, again, matching your qualifications to a job and the importance of doing that. So I think, yeah.
With so many resumes out there, it's not surprising that most companies use some kind of digital tool to initially determine who's qualified for the role. Almost every job posting site has a recruiter interface that lets companies search, sort, and filter the resumes they receive based on criteria that they choose. Only after that will a real person start looking at the resulting list of resumes to further narrow down the set of people who'll be contacted for a first interview. So if you want to even get to the point of being able to talk to a human being, your resume has to first pass the machines. How do you make that happen? First, make sure that you have the qualifications listed in the job description. If you don't, then your resume will get filtered out. There's no point in lying or seriously embellishing your experience level or qualifications. That's just a waste of time for everyone involved. You really don't want that kind of reputation. But you do need to show yourself in your best possible light. For instance, if the job description requires you to know one graphics package, but you're more familiar with a different one, can you take some online training to familiarize yourself with the differences, and then use that package for a couple of pieces of work? It would be wrong to then say that you were an expert in that package, but you do now have some experience with it. And also, you can talk in an interview about the pros and cons of each package from your perspective. Next, make sure that your resume clearly states your qualifications and experience, and that it does so in a machine-friendly way. For instance, if the name of your degree or your job title doesn't include key terms that are important for the job, then be sure that you've used those terms in the details you give for that qualification. It seems weird to be thinking about search engine optimization as part of your resume writing process, but sadly, it's become important these days. This also means that you can't have a resume. You have to have one per job application. That's because you're crafting the resume to match the criteria that each job is asking for. There may not be many changes from one to another, but you might change the emphasis of some components or swap out some skills for more appropriate ones in the limited space available. For some positions, you might have to fill in an application form that lays out each aspect of your life in a pretty rigorous set of questions. The reason for this is so that the company can more easily compare candidates. So, don't skip details, thinking that you can easily fill them in when you talk to somebody. If you haven't added the details, you might not get past the machines, so you won't be talking to anybody anyway. Of course, there's one way around the machine situation, and that is to get referred for a position. At small companies, the process might be informal. Someone forwards your resume to HR. Most larger companies have referral programs in place that reward employees for finding new hires. That's because people who are already in the organization are likely to know other people who are similar to them and who therefore should be a good match. Of course, that doesn't always lead to great diversity, but if you know someone who'd be likely to refer you, it's a great way to bypass the automated resume search process. So, make use of your network.
Great. So hopefully that video gave just some additional insight on like the importance of wanting to tailor and how the applicant tracking system is something that's very commonly used, unless, like mentioned, you're directly getting it to HR through email. But most of the time, if you're filling out an application and you're uploading your resume, it is passing through a system like this. So making sure to have the job description and look at those keywords is definitely essential. And the next component we'll look at is education. And so your education should have your school name, it should have the city and state, the degree or certificate that you are in progress of or have attained, and then an optional feature on there could be your GPA or honors. If you're on the honors list, you can definitely list that as well. And if we look at the example here, for Sally, she has education, an associate's in arts in psychology for transfer. And so a little tip about if you do plan to list on your resume your GPA, it should be usually a GPA that is higher than a 3.0. And again, this is an optional feature that you can add into this component under education, but you would definitely, if you consider doing it, to make sure that you are listing a GPA that is higher than a 3.0. In this example, she has a 3.85. Also, another thing that we recommend is not listing the completion of your graduation date or expected graduation date. Instead, you would, if you're in the process of getting the degree or certificate, that you do list that you can list you're in progress. If you already have the degree or certificate, you just list it so that employers know that you do meet the qualification they're looking for. If they're looking for someone with an associate's degree, you have an associate's degree, or you're in the progress of obtaining an associate's degree. And then the next section is experience. And I like to refer experience as professional experience. This component title is flexible. Some people use work experience, some people use professional experience, some people just list experiences. I just prefer professional because I feel like all the work that you do is a professional experience, whether it was a paid for or volunteer experience, it was still somewhere you were able to gain some transferable skills that you can apply into future roles. And so I mentioned unpaid because this is a great place to put volunteer experience if you like. Some people like to create a whole different section for volunteer experience, and that's okay too, because maybe they have an abundance of both paid experiences and volunteered experiences, but you never really have to disclose if an experience that you have was paid or not. Usually in volunteer experiences, people get titles as well. Sometimes your title is volunteer. Sometimes your title is actually a title. Maybe you were volunteering at an office building for a clinic and you were doing administrative work. So they gave you the title, front desk clerk, even though it was volunteer experience. That's not necessarily something you have to disclose in your resume. You can literally just say, I was a front desk clerk at this clinic organization. And so that's just a little tip for you guys to have. And within your experience, you should definitely have your company name, or the company name, city and state, next to the company. Your job title should be listed there, and then the responsibilities, or I like to say accomplishments too. So you don't have to limit yourself just to the tasks or roles that you did in that experience, but you can list some accomplishments that you're proud of and that you want to share. And so if we look here, and I think some of the tips that are mentioned here, again, accomplishments, which I said, I think earlier I talked a little bit about quantitative. So this is a great place to not only put qualitative data, so giving information about what you did and providing some quantitative data to go along with it. So kind of give an example of if you've been managing, particular client files per week, how many client files were you managing, or per month, however you want to list it. You can definitely do it in that way. You can, say, effectively managed 30 plus client profiles within a month or monthly, right? To kind of give an estimate, just to give those numbers there. Employers do enjoy seeing that type of number. Some people talk about how they increase sales or increase enrollment in a program and things like that. So wherever the quantitative data makes sense to you, you should definitely incorporate that into the areas of your experiences, as well as sometimes in your summary, as I mentioned earlier. And then if we go to the next slide, we can see the experience that is listed here in Sally's a little bit closer. And also what I'm going to talk about here is the formatting of how we list an experience. So here, in this particular example, she actually has not the job title first, but the company first. In the example that is given in your just-in-time resource guides that my colleague has dropped in the chat already, in that example, they do it the opposite. Now, there's really no right or wrong way to list this. This is another piece that you would be specifically tailoring to what is most relevant to the job description you're applying for and what you feel is most relevant. So some people list their job title because they feel the job title is more relevant to the roles that they're applying for. Maybe it's a similar job title that you're applying for. Some people feel like the company is more relevant because maybe it's a huge company name and that's well known and in the field that you're wanting to move forward in. So you want to list the company names. Again, there's no right or wrong way. It's really strategic on how you want the employer to read you. So you would decide based on the job, do I want to put my job titles first in my experiences or the company name? Now, whichever you choose to do, Again, there's no right or wrong answer, but whatever you list first needs to be bold. So you can see in this example, we did put the company first and it's bold so that you can see that. And that's going to help with that one piece we talked about, making sure your resume is clean cut, easy to read. This is going to differentiate the font essentially. So it's not all just kind of like one blur. So you'll see the company name is bold, or whatever you put first is bold. In this example, it is the company name, and my apologies for, need to update that. And then the job title would actually be italicized. So whatever is second would be italicized. Here in the slide, it shows the job title first, so that would be bold if it were like that in the example, and then the company italicized. So either way, what I want you to take away from this is that whatever is first is bold, whatever is second, you choose to put second, is italicized. Wherever you put the company, that has to have the location next to that company. It could be in parentheses, it could be a bar, it could be a comma. I think we used a comma here, but you can use parentheses. You can use any type of symbol to just, separate the two so that the employer can easily see this is the company and this is the location of the company, which are side by side. Then you will have all your dates to the right, and the dates to the right should be aligned. Again, just making it really easy to read from one side to the other, so they could say, hey, this person was a research intern from this time to this time, and then did a preschool job from this time to this time. I think that's her experience that we have listed here. So just again, making it super easy to read, not jumbled together or meshing together in a way where the employer is not able to differentiate what the different components are within your work experience. And then underneath that, obviously underneath your job title or your company, whatever you choose to list first, would be your responsibilities, or again, your tasks and accomplishments that you want to list. And then again, keeping in mind that you do want to have the qualitative and the quantitative information in there. So giving some numbers, giving some specific details. You never ever want to list responsibilities include and then provide this long list of different tasks you did. You really want to be specific and show some specific transferable skills. So that's why, again, in your main resume, your work experience list might be very, very long. Because you did so many different things in one job title, but you would pick and choose which are the top 3 to 5 that would make the most sense to this new job that I'm applying for, that are most transferable to this new job that I'm applying for. And I'm going to highlight those, because you can't, anything over 5 would just be way overwhelming. And we say minimum 3 because you do want the employer to get a nice picture of what it is that you actually did in that role. And then we'll move into projects. So projects are either your core. So people think projects is only school related. It's not just school related. It could be, a lot of people work on particular projects in job titles. So if it's really, again, unique to you. And again, always make sure that whatever projects you list are relevant, again, to the role and have some transferable skill to the role you're applying to. So you can list either the course that you did this in, or the company that you did this in. And again, that would be bold to just stand out. You would list the project title, which is italicized and can be next to or underneath the company or course name. And then you would just have like maybe 1 or 2 points about what the project entailed and what you did. So that's pretty much what the project is. And again, it needs to show some transferable skills and relevancy to what you're applying to as well. And then we can see her example here of the project that she did. So when you do provide your description, you want to do at least 2 to 4 descriptive bullet points. Like I said, a minimum of 2, a max of 4. You don't want it to be too overwhelming, and you want to take the key points of it. And again, what's most relevant to the work that you're applying for and shows your additional qualifications or skills that you have. And she has an example here of what she did in one of her psychology courses. The next component is coursework. And so coursework is pretty simple. You're going to list your course name. You're not going to list the abbreviations of your course because they're not going to know what that means. They don't know what Psych 100 means. you're going to list the full course name. And you, again, would list courses that are relevant to the job, but not only that, and if we go to the next slide, you can see the example here. You want to list courses that are included in higher level or specialized topics, because and I think Psych 100 might be general psychology, and that might be something common that not only psychology majors take. Anything general education wise, even like math and English, unless it's specific to, and even then there's specialized types of math and English courses you would want to list, because those are pretty basic ones that almost everybody has to take. So you want to list things that are going to, again, make you stand out in a resume. And so here I took quantitative reasoning in psychology and special topics in psychology. But I mean, just to give an example, that you really want to pick something that's specialized and again, makes you stand out versus something that's very general. So, and also thinking, you might have a lot of courses listed, but again, thinking what is most relevant, and again, thinking about how much space you have on your resume to the position that you're applying for, right? But for your main resume, again, for all of these components, you would fill up as much as your main resume, maybe 3, 4, 5 pages long. But when you think about your tailoring your resume, think about the job description, have it with you so you can pick and choose which courses, which work experiences, which projects, and so forth are most relevant to the job that I'm applying for, that you're applying for right now. Then if we look at the skills, which is a very, very important element of your resume, and I also feel like your skills, and I don't think I mentioned this before, should always be on your resume. So this is an area that you need to have all the time. Given that we're living in the age of technology anyways, most companies, even if prior in the field it wasn't something that's really needed, they want you to have basic, Microsoft Word type skills. And some people think I don't have any technical skills, but you do essentially. Like if you can maneuver through Word or even a Zoom, maybe Google Docs, it all depends what you're used to using. List any of those skills because they're really, really important. And so I would recommend creating a type of skill category, which we'll look at next, and then the skill name. And so if we go into the example, here, creating a different type of skill category includes what we known as hard skills, or what we refer to as technical skills. So these are skills that you really have had to master, and you want to make sure that you include these, like I said, into your resume. Some people struggle with, like, I don't have any technical skills, but if you really sit down and think about, any software programs, any languages that you might speak, any type of tools that you've had to really master. So it's kind of opposite of the essential skills we spoke about earlier, which are more quality traits. These are actually things that you've had to learn and apply. And this is where you would want to list those skills. So I think on here, you can definitely see that she listed some specific research methods, as well as her knowledge of Microsoft Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. And sometimes you might know the whole series or suites, they call it, like Microsoft suites. If you're comfortable, list that. If you want to be specific, because maybe some you're more comfortable than others, you can definitely list that. A tip that's down here under the skill names. And again, this is in that resource guide that's under the skills names. Though, if you look at languages, you might want to put the fluency of your language or how well you know it. Some people are fluent, native, proficient, working proficient, so that even if you only know a little bit of Spanish, maybe you can list it in a way where, I'm not going to say I'm fluent in it, but I still was able to put something in my skills. Maybe I know conversational or basic Spanish. Or whatever language basic. Just it helps to give credibility and transparency in how well you know these skills. And if sometimes you're not as confident in one program as you are in another, you can feel confident and comfortable to just list, I'm proficient in Excel as well, and maybe not fully there. But if you have to take a training, this is like the best way to think about it. If you have to take a training in one of these programs, because you won't be able to do something if your employer says, hey, I need you to create a Word document with this information, and you're like, I don't know how to do that, it shouldn't be listed on your resume. But if you have basic and knowledge and understanding and you can create the document, you might need a little bit of help that you can easily Google or do on your own, then list it. But if you don't feel comfortable being able to get in there and do it on your own, at first try and you know you need training, do not list it as a skill. And then we have, and I think that covered all the tips, yeah. And then I think our last section is leadership, and leadership is really fluid. Here you can really list any organizations that you might be a part of, activities that you participate in as far as clubs and things like that. You would definitely want to have the name of the organization or club or affiliate or company you're affiliated with, the position or role that you held. So maybe you were a member or maybe you were the VP, and then the date. So maybe if you're still currently doing it or from what time frame you did this. And if we go to the example, you can see here that companies do like to know about outside interests that you have. And sometimes those outside interests are very relevant to the role that you're applying to. Here, for example, we listed some honor societies. One is for Alpha Phi Omega, and the other was specific to Psi, is it Psi Beta? Am I reading that correctly? Which some of you might be familiar with if you're in the psychology program. I believe that's one affiliated with the psychology program here at Skyline College. And so these are sometimes just giving a little bit more about who you are, your hobbies, your activities, things that you've done in leadership. Maybe you're a vice president of one of these clubs or organizations, or just a member. Either way, it just kind of shows your interests outside of work as well and how it can be relevant. And an example I like to use is sometimes, maybe you're working for a company that is health oriented, like maybe you have a degree in psychology, and but you're going to work at a hospital because they have sections in the hospital that work specifically for people with, who have psychiatric needs. And hospitals tend to be very health oriented. So maybe even having a gym membership or being a part of other medical organizations or health organizations will show you in another light, showing how you might align with this company's values. Not only are you great at being, a case manager or psychologist, so to speak, in this example, but also that you align with the mission, the vision, the values of the company that you're seeking to work in. So sometimes your leadership affiliations will highlight that as well, depending on the job that you're applying for and if you have relevant leadership organizations that you want to list in your resume. And then lastly, we're going to skip, I forgot to skip that. We're going to go into the do not include and what not to include in your resume. I'm not going to read all of this either because this is actually in your just-in-time guide that was dropped, and I'm sure Renee would not mind dropping it one last time to make sure everyone can get access to that. But I will highlight some key topic ones. One thing that we do want you to understand is references available upon request is no longer used in a resume. It takes up space, and it pretty much takes up space and it's outdated. So if a recruiter or hiring manager wants to know your references, they're going to ask you that separately. It'll either be in the application you're applying to, or they'll ask you for separate letters, and usually letters of recommendation, right? Or reference. So do not waste time putting that on your resume. And another key one is to not list your social media, which is key. I think we're in the age of social media. A lot of people use social media in different ways. Even you're talking about putting your LinkedIn on there is a professional social media. So it is used to be professional and for networking purposes. So that would be okay to share on there because you shouldn't be sharing personal information. It really should be related to your professional development on LinkedIn. But unless you work in, unless you have social media sites that are specific to the work that you do and relevant to the job you're applying to, I would not list it. So for example, some people use Facebook or Instagram to promote businesses or to promote work that they do, like artists and things like that. That is okay to use. If it's relevant to the role you're applying to and it's not on your personal information as far as your personal life, then by all means share it. If it is, avoid putting that on there, okay? So that's a key one to remember. And then lastly, these last two checklists are actually on your resume guide as well. That was dropped in the chat for you all. And here, this is just going to kind of remind you of what to look for as far as when you complete drafting, a resume for a particular job, if you're tailoring your resume to a particular job. So you're really going to want to think about format and organization, and it gives you some key things to look for: the presentation, how it looks, readability, is it readable? And then the next checklist covers the consistency of your resume, as well as any grammar or spelling. I always recommend having someone read your resume, because more eyes are better than just your own. You might miss things that because you've been working on the document for so long, it can easily pass, that someone else might catch and can be a super easy fix. So just always remember that. And lastly, I wanted to share with you all, since this is the Careers in Psychology series, not next Wednesday, the last Wednesday of the month, or I should just say Wednesday, October 28th, or the third Wednesday of the month, excuse me, we will, two of our faculty members from the psychology department will be sharing a guest speaker webinar. And so here's the information. If you're interested, please feel free to contact me for the direct flyer, the new flyer does have the Zoom link on it, so we can get that to you. And then if you're interested in hearing Alyssa Kurth, who's a clinical social worker at University of California, and we did send some flyers out into marketing, so you should receive it in your Gmails if you are a current student, and if you have, and on our listserv already. But if you haven't, again, I'll provide the contact information. Reach out if you're interested in getting the information so you can attend. And then the last slide just also shows some of the workshops that I will be hosting on the first Wednesday of the month. So in November, we have how to find internships in psychology. And in December, we have the Level Up with LinkedIn. And so again, if you're interested in these and would like access to the flyer, just reach out to me and I'll get that to you. And the last slide is our team's contact information. So if you are interested, reach out to skycareers@smccd.edu. And if you also wanted to just, talk a little bit more specifically about your resume and how to really tailor your resume to maybe a job you're interested in, or just get some, support in individualizing your resume or any other area of career support, we are here to help. You can also check out our website and our specific page, our division page, and our team page. So thank you all for coming. And I didn't see any questions in the chat, so hopefully I didn't miss anything. And unless anyone has any questions now, I really appreciate you all coming through and hope that this was a valuable experience for you. Is there a sign-up sheet? Is that for the webinar? There's no sign-up sheet. I think it's a Zoom. Do you mean for today? I have all of you. You all should have registered today for this event to get in. So if you're here for extra credit, that will get to I will pass that on to the psychology faculty so that they have it. Yeah, so there's no particular form that you need to fill out. Thank you all for coming. I'm gonna stop the recording, but if you have any questions, please feel free to stay on. I have a few minutes.